To all the boys I stopped talking to, suddenly, I'm sorry. It wasn't you, it was me. To my roommate, who probably won't ever understand. To my RA, my floor mates, my best friends. He said he wouldn't ever do something like that, so I couldn't possibly be right. Right? To my mom, my dad, my little cousin. The people on the internet said I was not at fault. They said I was strong. But once they knew who I was, they said I was in the wrong. Asking for attention, full of myself. Thirsty. Because obviously, no one could ever actually hurt me. If I didn't say no, I must have said yes. But what no one understands is my body's not a conquest. He didn't even ask. But once I said no, all I got were excuses, and there was nowhere else to go. We live in a society that preaches, don't blame the victim. But when that victim is the girl who's had a few too many drinks, the one who didn't get a second just to stop and think, then right and wrong becomes as blurry as her vision. So did I make this decision? Am I to blame? Because I don't even know his last name. And these people that say they know me, hiding behind the face of anonymity. Too self-important to think, hey, what if this had happened to me? They push me to the brink. This body, my body, is a temple that he divided and conquered. I always thought, a body is a body. It's only a vessel. Well, I was wrong. Because I think if this body were a vessel, my soul would still feel strong.
So I met Marlo through Lily. We had met a couple times just because she had come over to hang out and stuff, but I really got to know Marlo the first time when we kind of started this project. That first time that we met was we were putting up posters and all just kind of fuming, just because this is just a topic that really gets to us all a lot. And Lily was saying, what if we could mark the spots that these things happen to people? And at first we thought about maybe putting tape on the ground, and then it quickly came to our attention that that wasn't going to be enough. People weren't going to know what that meant.
We were like just talking about this idea that it would be cool to have like an anonymous way to like visually represent sexual assault at DU, because people just don't think about it if, you know, they don't see it.
And then Marlo is really tech savvy, and she was like, well, why don't we do a map online and then people can access it? And then we kind of decided to get rid of the physical X aspect altogether, and things just kind of started working out.
I think that where DU has an issue is not necessarily in the resources they have, because they do have resources. It's more in like the student culture. And I think that's what we saw a gap with, is that there are resources like Title IX and there's CAPE, and they can be advocates for survivors, but they aren't going to make it so that survivor stories are believed by other students, and they aren't going to make it so that a survivor feels validated in what happened to them. So that's kind of the area that we wanted to fill.
The Red Tape Project, basically, anybody can submit an X to the campuses that we have open, which are University of Colorado, Boulder, University of Denver, and Winona State. And we have all their locations given to us by the person who opens the campus, because as outsiders, we wouldn't know all the locations on their campus.
We always have blue hearts on every campus, and you can click on those and see places on the campus that you can go for support.
There are resource tabs for the national level and then also for every location that we spread to. That's one thing that we really want to emphasize is being able to have access to resources. There's also an area to add your ex, and at that spot then people can anonymously enter their information into the survey, and all that is really necessary is like where it happened. Though some people add a story, some people add a date, some people add something that they heard or something of that nature. Some people have added words of encouragement too, which is pretty cool. If you go through that and then just submit an X, then in a few days it should show up on the map. So I honestly didn't really know how big of an issue sexual assault on college campuses was until it happened to me freshman year. It became more of an issue for me because I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. And that's kind of where my motivation was with like reporting and everything too. And also then just knowing like so many people close to me who have shared their stories with me, it's really hard because you can't fix it. But hopefully it'll change in the future.
I think like the first, I don't know if this counts as an emotion, but just passion. I think through Cassidy and Lily having gone through it, and then me having been there on the side and seeing the effects that it has on personal and like social life. I think there was like a little bit of anger, but I think as the idea has grown, it's become less of an anger and more just focused on supporting and just being kind of loving people who are there to listen.
About the wheels. Pickup line? Yes, after the elephant joke, the guy in Cancun.
I mean, I know that it's helped me to be able to know that that it's happening everywhere, because I think there is kind of a loneliness and there's an isolating aspect of sexual assault. And I think it's also helped to realize that I can help other people. And I think that the strongest part of it is probably just the fact that when you add an X, it acknowledges that it happened and that someone's experience is true.
And I think that the Red Tape Project for survivors is really about knowing that you have this support system even if you don't know who they are. The fact that these people are able to go on and say what happened to them without having any way for anyone to target them and judge them, I think is really helpful, because I was blessed in that there were not that many people who told me I was lying, but I personally know some people who went through hell because of that. And we don't want anybody to have to do that. They shouldn't have to. And with this, if you're not comfortable telling people it's you, you have the option to at least put it out there into the world and see that people would support you. And I think that that has the potential to be really powerful.
He was my friend, but when I said no, he told me I was a tease. He told me I wanted it.
I tried to ask him why in the morning, and he told me I was fine. He told me I wanted it.
I was at this party during my second year, and I remember giving this guy my phone number after I'd been drinking and
I was too drunk to say yes, and he used my body and
have to go. I just started making excuses, and then
I was roofied at a bar.
It's fine, and grab me and say
I
goodbye.
woke up and I was scared for
Guy
my
that
life.
had been my best friend
Awful
for
person.
7 years, like all my childhood memories included him. I didn't even say goodbye because I just wanted to get out of there.
What people don't understand is that when someone gets assaulted, it's not just that one person that's affected, it's everybody in their life, because now the people close to them are holding them when they're having a panic attack, or not able to watch the same movies with them because there's that one scene, or they have to stay up all night that one night of the year. They're on this different playing field. And I think that a lot of people in my life felt like they were in over their heads and didn't know how to help. And that's not fair to them. So he didn't just do this to me, he did this to a lot of people. One thing about the Red Tape Project that's really good is this is a group that knows how to be there for people, and we're on the same playing field and we understand. So when your parents aren't saying the right things and your friends are asking you to watch that movie anyway, you know that you've got a good amount of people on this campus that are here.
Also being able to support survivors by believing what they say, because the first person that a survivor tells will influence whether they tell anyone else, whether they report. And I don't think it's just the first person. I think it's everyone after that too, that needs to be able to support people. Just saying that you believe someone is very helpful.
I think I'm still honestly learning, but I think the first thing that you can do for a friend who's going through anything is first believe them, and like don't force them to talk about it, don't force them to report it. The only thing that you can do is just be there for someone, like stay up until 3 a.m. and talk to them about it or distract them from it, or just because in the end it's the survivor who gets to choose what they do with their story.
I hope that if people see this and they have been in this position, they won't be as afraid to reach out. You don't have to report or to ever say their name, but it's your choice how you deserve to go about, how you decide to go about this, because this decision is a yes or no, I want to have sex decision was taken from you, and everything after this is completely up to you.